G'day there, legends. Calvin here from the den to go through your round 6 captain options. Yes, look, hey, gone to an extra effort this week, created a set. Look at that, kicking goals here in Team Calvinator, despite my team sucking. Let's move on to captain options. Number 1 this week, he's twisted my hand, has to be Bailey Smith. Now, man, team high CBAs for him last week. It was quite unusual. Bontempelli seemed to be the guy that was pushed out. He had 118 last year against the Crows, and he even had 156 a COVID score back in 2020 against them. Coming off a 147 and 131, my hand has been twisted. He plays the first game on a Saturday, which is a nice vice-captain option for you. So you get a double go at him, and that one is coming from Mars Stadium. Number 2 pick, Max gone. I've already checked the weather. The weather is going to be good. So it's going to be nice and dry for Max. His hands are going to be nice and clean. And he's going to be clunking them like he has in the last 2 weeks with his scores of 132 and 140. That's at the MCG on Sunday night, which is an unusual one, at 7:25. So you need to probably have him as a captain option looking at that and not a vice-captain. He's against Nankervis. Now, last 2 games against Nank, he had a 107 and a COVID 164, which is massive. But prior to that, he's had massive scores against Richmond. So you'd think he'd get the job done again. Last 2 rucks to go against Nankervis haven't struggled. Riley O'Brien, even he managed 83. And Tim English, speaking of, got it done with a 105. In the same game, I like Christian Petrarca. Richmond, the second easiest team for midfielders to score against. His last 3 scores this year have been pretty good. 115 and then a couple of tag scores there, 77 and 83. No tag this time. Last year against Richmond, he had a 137. Kicking back over to Mars Stadium here, I couldn't split these 2, but I've gone Jack Mcrae. His numbers at Mars are unbelievable. However, his last 2 weren't great with an 81 and a 113. Now, I'm not too fussed about that. This is a kind of game that could open up for him and he could have a field day. He's coming off 119 and 130, except he hasn't hit a ton against Adelaide in his last 2. I'm not too concerned about that. The other thing for him is he had 53% of CBAs last week, which is massively down from the 76 the week before. So he's still linking up, he's still getting around, taking those little cheeky marks. So I think he's going to have it just ahead of Dunkley. Now, Dunkley hasn't put a foot wrong. Lowest score of 103, highest score of 132 this year. Last year against Adelaide, a little dirty 53, but that was coming back off injury. So we will forgive him with that. His last scores at Mars Stadium are ridiculous as well. That was a 53, 108, 106, 127, 116. Number 6, Clayton Oliver, always getting it done. Richmond are one of his favourite teams to play against. He's coming off a 111 from last week. He had 124 against them last year. The Man of Steel scrapes in at number 7. Now, revenge game, Roy, up against his old team. But his old team, this is a Friday night game coming from the ACT at 7:50. The problem is, they're the second hardest team to score against at the moment are the Giants. And, of course, they've also got Lockie Ash, who can lock down as a tag. He didn't do it last week against Melbourne, which was interesting. I just think that they got to the point they were like, well, Petrarca, Oliver, whoever we go to, the other one's going to burn us. So let's just go sort of head-to-head. He could go to Steele here, at least at stoppages. Steele tackles, he marks, he still gets it done anyway. But interestingly enough, last year against the Giants, he only managed 78. Now, no tag on that day. It was round 1. He started slow, 19 touches. But all in all, man, he scores this year between 101 and 130, coming off 112 last week. I think he still is a great option, still a good VC option on Friday night. Just check out your ducks and all those little emergencies, see how they line up. Number 8, I've got Ben Keys, based on form alone, getting it done. Last year against the Bulldogs are tough to score against. He did have a 69, which was his lowest for the year. But all in all, that's a great assault. Water off a bloody Pirates back because he should be awesome as well. Number 9, I have gone with, where's my 9? Ooh, a little smoky here, only because he plays Hawthorn at UTAS Stadium. We know we can get some massive scores there in the day. Hawthorn, by far, the number 1 easiest team to score against. We are talking about Callum Mills. Now, slow start, interrupted pre-season, coming off 106 and 106. He had 113 against the Hawks last year. I think he can have a big day in Lonnie on Monday at 12:30. Strange start to a game. Number 10, I've scraped in Sam Walsh there. Just last year, 128, 116 against Freo, and he's averaging 107 in his last 3 and getting it done. However, Freo, one of the hardest to score against. Let's have a look at who I don't like. Well, not I don't like, who I just chose to overlook this week. Taranto, he's getting it done, but 92 last week was his lowest for the year. St Kilda at the moment, the number 1 hardest team to score against. You know why? Because they have the most fantasy points against their name. Unless I've got that wrong, which I probably have. Who else have I overlooked here? Oh, overlooking Brayshaw this week. I know he's at home against Carlton. Carlton are tough, though, and if I was Carlton, I'd be sending Super Huey to him, stand next to him at least stoppages alone, and run with him when he can. So, last 2, 123, 110. He's got great numbers against Carlton. However, I just think he might get a little bit of attention there from the Super Huey. Took, well, we've got to ignore him altogether at the moment. Did you know what? Get this. Unless my stats are wrong, and I very, very rarely are they wrong, last 2 games he hasn't had a tackle. Yep, we all know that. Never in his AFL career has he played a game and not laid a single tackle. I don't know what's going on. People are going, oh, Cal, he's got a new role, defensive mid. Oh, rubbish. Bullshit, I say, because name me a defensive mid that hasn't laid a tackle in the last 2 games. You can't. Here's the thing with him. He's averaging 83 in his last 3 games, coming off 99 last week. He's still getting bulk possessions, but he's not filling that stat line, which gets it to that 120, that 130. Last year, against Brisbane, so he's at home here against Brisbane, Sunday afternoon, he had a 127. Yeah, that's great. He had 32 touches. He had 9 tackles. That's the difference between his hundreds and his 130s at the moment. So he usually gets tagged by Zorko. He didn't in that game. He won't again. Just tackle. Jesus. Right. Lachie Neale, I've overlooked him as well. Look, the Suns are easy though, number 3 easiest. He only had 76 against them last year, and that was with a tag from Flanders. I know. However, maybe Matt Rowell has a little bit of a job with him. So just a little flag on him. I still like him though. Piggy Mitchell up against Sydney down here at UTAS. You'd think he'd be amazing at UTAS. He's played 15 times his career for an average of 125, if you don't mind. Last week he had 94, 71 in the second half. He had 125 against Sydney last year. I just don't think at the moment he's a guy that you can be putting a captaincy on. Got to talk about Parrish because it's a medal game. So Parrish usually dominates. Leading into this game last year, he went 89, 92, boom, 150 for that medal. I just think he might cop a little bit of attention from Scott Pendlebury. Maybe. He went to Neale last week. Just at times, you put a shadow next to Parrish and I reckon he poops his pants. Collingwood, 3rd hardest team to score against this year for midfielders. Grundy bounces back in this one surely, but the numbers against Draper, they're good this year. Darshall had 100. That's Sean Darcy for those playing at home. He had 100 last week. Riley O'Brien, 56 the week before that. Max Gorn, 101 before that. You would assume that Grundy bounces back after his 54 in what is one of the biggest games of the year, that Anzac Day game, kicking off and finishing at, well, it's a 3:20 game on the Monday. Anyway, my voice is starting to go on because I've been a bit sick. That is enough from me. Hope you like the set. Hope you like the hat. Woo! Cow out. Good luck this week.